G'day everybody and welcome to another episode of Automotive Carnage, and today we are working on the Creekbed Pacer. We have a bunch of parts to shove into this thing. We've got heaps of brand new brake parts. We have some wonderful seats that we need to make brackets up to make them work, and also we have to paint it, which is something I never thought I would end up doing to this car. Yes, g'day everybody, my name's DJ and thank you for joining me on this episode of Automotive Carnage. Today, it's time to get some more work done on this Pacer. It has been well overdue and I really just want to get this thing sealed up, interior in and rolling nicely. How are we going to achieve that? First thing we're going to have to do is get this car up in the air and paint underneath it. It's pretty raw and a little bit rusty under there, so last night I got it up and sprayed the underside with a whole bunch of rust converter just to take care of any of that loose scaly stuff. There's no major rust left in it. Paul and myself have chopped all that out and replaced as much as we can. It was just the rear quarters to do on this car, which is, you know, the main structural rust. It's not the structural rust, it's just the worst rust that's on this vehicle. But underneath is really solid now, so I want to protect that. We've put the rust converter in there, and next thing I want to do is I have a bitumen kind of rubberized, almost rubberized type paint, and we're going to lather that up underneath there. Next we're going to move into the interior. Inside the interior has come quite a long way since you guys will have last seen us working on this car, and the first major thing you'll notice is that rear seat. Now this car did have its original seat when we first found it in the bush sitting in the creek, but it was in such dilapidated state that when I moved this vehicle down from the goldfields to the wheat belt, I decided to throw the seat away and just get another one, because there's nothing special about a Pacer seat. They're the same between the VE, the VF and the VGs, so long as it's the 4-door styles. Obviously the 2 doors have a slightly squarer end, but the 4-door saloons, they're all the same. There's nothing special about a Pacer seat. Well, as with anything, when you're working on any kind of cars, especially old cars from the 60s, you should never throw anything out until you're completely done. Having to find another seat has been a little bit more difficult than I first thought, mainly because I'm a Tavo, tired-ass Valiant owner, and I don't really want to pay top dollar for him. But when this seat came out for sale, I couldn't say no. Now, again, the keen-eye viewers will notice that it's not quite right for a Pacer, and that's because we have a center armrest. This seat is out of a VE Regal, so yes, it's the wrong color, yes, it's the wrong seat. Pacers aren't meant to have this, but it's just so much cooler. We'll look again at retrim sometime in the future, but for now, it's in place, it's staying there, and I absolutely love it. And surprisingly, for an old seat, it's a bit creaky, but it's pretty comfy. As for the seat that I'm currently sitting in, this is not a genuine VF Pacer tombstone seat. Again, when we found this car in the creek, it did have one of the original seats, but it was absolutely destroyed. It was snapped in half. I still have that seat. It's sitting out in my Dodge 106C. I kept it around just because they are very hard to find and they go for very good prices. So I thought if I keep that, at least there might be some parts on that we can use in another project. Or more to the point, if someone else is restoring a Rigididge Pacer, we have a seat frame there that might be salvageable or have something on it that they could use. Now this one, let me get out of it to show you what we've got. What we have here is a VH VJ Charger seat. And I'm absolutely stoked to have these because all they cost me was a box of beer. Last week you will have seen the walk around of all the vehicles, and if you watch towards the end, there was a VF Regal wagon that we found out at a rubbish dump at an old farm, and sitting in the back of that wagon was a pair of these seats. Now, I originally wanted the wagon for all the windows, but when I seen these in there, I'm like, you know what? I want the car, I'll just take it as it is. How much do you want? He's like, mate, fill up my fridge, it's yours. Done. That's my kind of a deal. That is a proper Tavo deal. Now, these are awesome. They are very similar to the original Tombstones. The great thing about these ones are they in the correct tan T1 color, and they're in okay condition. Yeah, the seams are split on the base of it, a little bit of damage over here. That's enough talking about seats for now. The next thing is, I want to direct your attention to the roof. Each year that my birthday comes around, I like to invite all my mates out, all the YouTubers and various people I've met along the way in this car journey of my life. And pretty much just celebrate over a weekend, have a massive fat time out on the racetrack. Everyone brings their own vehicles, barbecue, bonfire. It is an absolutely fantastic time. Now, everyone likes to get together and help me out too with a few projects, and one of those blokes was Dan from Vision Auto Trim and Aussie Garage. And while he was here, he helped install this wonderful roof lining. It looks absolutely amazing. It's spanking brand new. Couldn't be happier. We actually, with the bows, we actually had to modify them a bit because we didn't have enough that were the correct length. So some we had to chop down, and then others we had to extend out. So that was a bit of fun doing that as well. Unfortunately, this car did have to sit outside in a dewy morning one day, and the bottom did fall down. So I'm really sorry, Dan, but again, come out. we need you back out here, bro. Get these A pillars finished off, get that redone, and then we can actually put the windows into this car. Well, at least the windscreens. Once these A pillars are all trimmed up, we'll be able to get the front windscreen in, get that done. We'll see what we can do about the parcel shelf, and then we can go and put the rear window in. We have the rubber seals. We have the front windscreen, again on that VF wagon that we got out the rubbish dump. We still don't have a rear windscreen, or actually rear door glass as well, because it turns out that wagon rear doors are a different shape to sedan rear doors. So that's a bit of a bummer. But we've got other mates who are on the hunt for those parts. Again, we can buy them, but you know, it's more fun to use a circle of help and friends and, you know, work together to get a project done. Moving down now, we have the floor. Now, the work that's been done to the floor is exactly what we need to do to the underside of the car later on today. What we've done here is we've stripped back all the loose surface rust, put some rust converter on it, seam sealed all the edges for the floor panel that I welded in way back when, and then we just use that bitumen rubberized sort of paint and just lathered it on to help protect from rust, damage, and all that kind of stuff. So again, we'll possibly do a bit more work to this. I'm debating whether we put some sound deadening foam on there or something. We have brand new carpets that are ready to go down as well, but we cannot get the carpets down until we get our seat brackets sorted out. So we're going to go to a friend's place where he's got all the machinery needed to make those brackets, and I'll take you guys along there as well, and we'll make those up. And just on the corner there, you can see we've got some brand new door cards. Brand new reproduction in the right style. We're over $1,000. I ain't paying that for door cards. I found these ones online for 140 bucks, brand new. Really good laser cut quality, and at the end of the day, if we run out of time, I'm just going to get some black velvet and just wrap them in that and be done with it. It'll look really good. Or tan, actually. They should be tan. I'm not really too keen on the original Pacer design of them. I think it's all a bit boring, but in saying that, I'd actually just prefer a clean sheet of tan valve, maybe tan vinyl or something on there. We'll see what Spotlight's got on offer when we go to wrap those up. Anyway, I think that's all for inside the vehicle. So yeah, let's get this car up in the air on the hoist and have a look at the underside and show you what we've got to do there. Sorry, one last thing about the seats. A massive shout out to the viewer Terry Masters, who left a comment in the last video and pointed out that the seat rails on the Charger seat should not be any different to the Pacer ones. They should just fit in nicely. And that was backed up by Paul from Old School Only, and said, yep, I've put CM seats into a VE before, you should be right to go. So that prompted me to do a little bit more further investigation to find out that the seat rails that are on here are actually two Z-shaped rails, whereas it should be one Z-shaped and one C-shaped rail. And I've looked through the VF Wagon rec, and the two C-shaped channels are missing, so those are what we have to go make at my friend's place. So thank you very much, Terry Masters and Paul, for that little bit of information. Anyway, let's get underneath this car. Underneath this car is looking really, really good. Like I said before, I got under here last night, gave it a quick scrub, get the loose dirt off, the loose surface rust, and sprayed a whole bunch of rust converter underneath here. Gave it overnight and all day today to cure. And now we'll get under here with the paintbrush and our bitumen paint and give it a really good coating. So we'll start from this line here, just at the firewall, and go all the way back to just about where the diff is. Probably just in front of the diff actually. That seems to be where most of the chassis is going to get pelted by rocks, stones and chips and all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff that you find on the road. And again, just when we want to protect it and we want to make this car last as long as possible on the road. So anyway, you guys are all caught up to date now on the work that has been done to this car. We have a mission in mind. Let's get into it and let's move on to something else. You know, we've got some brakes we can put in, we've got those seat rails that we can make, we've got lots and lots of stuff. But for now, time-consuming job, I'm just getting the paint on. That took a little bit longer than expected, a couple of hours later, but the underside is completely blacked out now, and it's going to be well protected with that bitumen style paint on there. It's very thick, it's very hard to paint on upside down, but yeah, just doing it by hand was the easiest and most logical way of doing it. And then once we got the bulk of it on, I went back around later with a smaller paintbrush and got in all the little nooks and crannies and all the different areas that I could get. So it's looking fantastic. Next, well, that's the underside sort of done. So we can start mapping out brake lines, which is something that I was really looking forward to doing. Or we can get it down and get back onto the inside and get those seat brackets made up. I reckon we do that and see if we can get them seats sorted. I'm going to message Dan from Vision Trim and just ask him if it's worth putting some sound deadening in underneath there. We've got underlay and we've got carpet, so I don't know, a little bit of sound deadening I think might be a good idea, but we'll see what he reckons and we'll go from there. We are down here at my mate's workshop, which conveniently I used to work at. So we've got great big guillotine, great big bend brake there. So that flat bit of steel is going to become our new C channel for our seat rail. And just like that, we are done. So I'll take it home, drill some new holes in there, and that is a lot easier than trying to make anything at home. So thank you very much, Dusty, appreciate it. Back in the shed now, and we have our wonderful C channel seat mounts, and they're going to go fantastic inside our car. So let's get the driver's seat out, unbolt one of the Z channels off the side there, and yeah, let's work out where our holes need to be. We need to drill 2 holes there, obviously put our seat onto, and then drill 2 holes at the right spacing and measurements to then go into the floor. Once we drill those holes, we need to find some bolts to then put in there, weld them in, because they are meant to be captive bolts, and then put nuts up underneath the chassis, under the floor, to secure it into place. So, seat out, drill some holes, let's get into it. Well, there we have it folks, one driver's seat in the Pacer, nice and secure. I was a bit worried that I made the C channels a little bit too high, but no, I'm sitting at a nice height, plenty of headroom, not uneven in any way. It turned out really, really good. So happy with that. I'm not happy with how far I'm leaning back. It does have, down here, it's got notches in there that someone's cut out to try and get a bit more of a gangster lean going on. I'll leave them for now. There's also a reason they did that. Whether it be a practical reason or a show-off reason, I don't know. But we'll leave them for now, and if it gets too bad, you know, leaning this far back, that steering wheel feels bent. Feels like it's going like this. We'll leave it, otherwise we can take it off and weld it up and fill in that gap that they've created. But for now, that's fine. Still need to make an area for the spring, the return spring, to mount onto, and I still need to link the rails together with a bit of wire so that when I pull the lever, we move both sliders and not just the one. So that, really happy with that. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. The other side is going to be a little bit more difficult because all of the bolts have snapped off the Z channel. So they all should be replaced anyway, but I do need to go buy some new bolts to put in there. So that's a tomorrow job. For now, I'm super happy. I'm going to get into that second seat. I'm not going to bore you with filming that one. And when we come back, we should have all seats mounted and good to go. Looking forward to that. Rightio, so it's been a few days now and a couple of things have happened. Since we got these seats all organised and ready, the roof has come down. It's a bit hot out here at the moment and the glue has unfortunately mounted away and the roof lining has started to sag, but that's okay because we're still waiting for those bits of trim to go on our A pillars, then we get our window in, then we get our rubbers in, and it's all going to hold itself in nicely. Right, the other big massive change, if I can open this door, is we now have our carpets in here and they're looking absolutely swanky. So what we've got to do now is the bit that I've been most worried about is we have to find out where our holes are I have to go, and then we've got to cut them. Now, hopefully I get it right the first time. They're really nice carpets, and I feel really bad about chopping them up, but it's got to be done. So I've had a few different ideas on how to do it. And I think what we're going to do is just going to get a knife and a pair of scissors or something and just do, you know, a couple of little slits, crosses where the bolts need to go. And then we can bolt our seats in. So let's get into it. There we have it. We have seats in the Pacer. Absolutely stoked. Yeah, they look good. I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm not 100% happy. If we look from this angle, you can see it, they're kind of splayed out like this. But not having the factory brackets, I didn't have anything to model off to make sure I had the angles right or heights right. So for now, they're good. They're in there. It's really good and looks nice. But yeah. Overall chuffed, and I can see why they've put the notch in this arm here, because when you actually sit in it, you do end up with a much nicer sitting position. So it's interesting. It's actually kind of cool to be sitting in this car for the first time, how it's meant to be, I guess. The steering wheel feels very forward and kind of on my lap, which does make getting in and out a little bit interesting. But otherwise, it's, you know, it's a comfy place to be. I did end up taking the hood, the roof lining off, just so I didn't get damaged. It had completely come away from the glue. Again, just from sitting outside in this intense heat, it's just mounted it, and yeah, it's all falling apart. So that's okay. We'll actually probably get this car down to Dan's place and get him to give it its once over, which would be really, really cool. So yeah, we actually have an interior. We got the back seat in, all mounted nice and correct. It does look very strange with the tan front seats and the blue rear, but it's just absolutely stoked to see this car coming together. And when you think about when we first picked this car up and how much of a state it was in, we've come a long way, and I can only have done it with the help of my friends. You guys have all been amazing. Anyone who's put a spanner or a grinder to this car, I thank you all. It's because of you that this car is the way it is now. So in other news, the matching numbers engine for this car has been sent off to my mate Jake, who runs a engine machine shop. And it'll be interesting to see. We'll spend a bit of time with him and go over the engine and see if it's savable. And if it is, we might give it a little bit of a tickle up and see what we can do with it. But otherwise, I think that'll do for this episode. It's a little bit of a short one. But yeah, it was just nice to get some progress done on the Pacer and show you all that, yes, in the new year, this car should be driving. I really do want to get this car driving, and it all just kind of mainly depends on funds and time at this moment, like any other project car. So thank you all for watching this episode of Almost Carnage, and we'll catch you on the next one.